My. This is a strange sight. Wonder if I finally lost my mind after all this time. And here I thought the exercises were helping. Oh, what's the matter? You seem as confused as I am. Do you not even know how you got here? Because I certainly don't. A dream? How funny. I'm the one who feels like they're dreaming. But then, you don't seem to be here physically, so perhaps it's true. Astral projection, maybe. But I've never heard of astral projection to other planes. Perhaps it's true what they say, that dreams are windows to other worlds. But listen to me ramble. It's been so very long since I've talked to someone other than myself. Tell me, what is your name? What a strange name. I'm not sure I could ever pronounce that. What was that first sound again? Odd. Come to think of it, given how long I've been here, my native language is probably dead. You must speak a completely different one. Strange that we understand each other, in that case. Anyway, I'll just call you Dreamer. There's not much point in me giving you my name. I imagine you won't have any more luck pronouncing mine. Most people knew me as the Cursed anyway. No reaction to that? I'd assumed they'd still be telling stories about me. It might be for the best, though. I don't imagine stories about me would be particularly flattering. Well, I'm not interested in lying to the first person I've ever spoken to in a millennia, so I'll be frank. I'm not a good person. In fact, I'm here because I'm responsible for nearly wiping out humanity. Intentionally. The details are something I'd like to save for another time. Let it suffice to say that I am a being of great magic, and I judged all humankind to be worthy of extinction. It would take a lifetime to name every person I've killed. Poor little dreamer. If you weren't already asleep, I'd say you looked like you could faint. Rest assured, you're in no danger. I am all but powerless now, and you're not even really here. I underestimated your species' will to survive. Your ancestors sacrificed quite a lot to stop me. When I was within reach of my goal, they struck me with a potent spell. My magic was ripped away from my very essence, and I was thrust out of reality into this wasteland that lies in between everything. A being like me isn't capable of death, so I've been here ever since, wandering the wastes. It has been nothing short of maddening. For what it's worth, I've mellowed over the years. What I was doing, it seemed so important at the time. I thought it was my duty to the world. But with nothing to do but think, my old way of thinking started to seem petty, backwards even. Certainly, I only have myself to blame for my situation. I can't fault your kind for defending themselves, so I can only think that it was immensely foolish of me to push you so far. If I could do it all over again, I think I'd have tried a more benevolent approach. Use my magic to make your lives better and win your adoration. Would have been easy to ask you to change your ways then. Of course, you are a fool if you take me at my word. I'd say anything if I thought it had the slightest chance of getting me out of here. Probably doesn't matter in the end. I'm not sure how you managed to get here, but I doubt there's a way you or I could take advantage of it. Though, perhaps. Do you mind if I try to touch you? I want to confirm something. Oh, that blush. I think you pictured something just now, didn't you, dreamer? How indecent. Oh, I kid. But it's gratifying to know my form is still appealing. My captors tried to turn me into a hideous beast on top of everything else, just to make me more miserable. But I managed to keep control of that, at least. Now, if you could just lend me your hand, that's all I need. How intriguing. You're not really here, physically, but there is something. I can feel a tingling sensation when I pass my hand through you. This isn't as simple as astral projection or a mere dream. You're quite the little enigma, dreamer. And perhaps a useful one, too. You might be able to help free me. It's a long shot, but still the best odds I've faced since I got here. Oh, no need for that worried little face. There's nothing you could do right now, even if you wanted to. There's plenty of time for this, assuming this isn't a one-time visit. You can decide whether you actually want to free me later. I realize how risky an idea that is for you. Anyway, I suppose that's enough scheming for now. I'm not sure how long we have, so before we're interrupted, I'd like to hear a bit about you, dreamer. Why, of course. There's something about you, I think. It's hard to be certain. I haven't spoken to anyone in so long, after all, but you seem unusual for a human, even ignoring the fact that you can visit me. Well, for starters, what do you do with your time? I didn't understand most of those words. The world has clearly changed while I was away. I wish you could show me what you mean. I suddenly find myself wishing for a lot of things. In fact, I wish I could touch you. Really touch you. I've never held much interest in your kind, but right now, I just want to run my hands through your hair, feel your body against mine. What I wouldn't give just to be close to somebody again. Was that oversharing? Sorry. Finally being able to talk to someone again has brought back a lot of feelings I'd buried away. It's funny how it's the things I rarely had time for that I miss the most. If I do manage to return to the real world eventually, I think that's what I'd like to focus on instead, just connecting with people. Starting with you, my little dreamer. A bribe? I wouldn't call it that. Just consider it incentive. And it's not like I'm lying. You really do intrigue me, even if I never make it out of here. I do hope that you're able to visit again. I'm quite fortunate that my first visitor in millennia is so charming. Let me ask you something. If you could have one wish granted, what would it be? It could be almost anything. Really? My, how selfless. Or is this one of those, if the world gets better, I benefit sort of things? Well, never mind. Either way, I think I'll make that the first thing I do after I'm freed. Assuming I am. After I take advantage of being able to touch you, of course. Oh well, can you blame me? The more I think about the possibility of actually leaving, the more I want it to happen. Now I'm fantasizing about all sorts of things I could do for the first time in forever. Quite a few of them involve you. You're still a fool if you believe any of what I'm saying, of course. But the foolish choice isn't always the wrong one. Maybe you'll turn out to be exactly the kind of fool I needed. But before we go worrying about all that, I want to... What was that? I could swear you were blurry for a moment. There it is again. Oh, dear. Does this mean you're waking up? I wasn't finished with you yet. Oh well, no time to lament over it. I need to do something quickly before you wake up. Give me your hand again. I have a theory, and if I'm right, it should help bring you back to me. Even though you're not really here, there is some kind of connection to your real self. I think if I use what little power I have, I can... There! I've put some of myself into you. And now, there should be a psychic link between us. You'll be able to see it when you wake up. There's a mark on your hand that only you can see. That way, you'll know it was all real. And, best of all, when you wake up, I can use this to guide you back to me. I couldn't stand it if I couldn't see you again. I think this is it. Take care, little dreamer. I'll see you soon. Hello again, little dreamer. I see you found your way back to me. Good. I was worried what would happen if we weren't able to meet again. Oh, it was far from certain. The psychic link I forged was created with what scant amount of power I could still muster, and I'm a millennia out of practice. Not to mention, I'm still not entirely sure how you reached me in the first place. The whole plan was a shot in the dark, and I'm relieved that it worked. Aw, so you missed me too. How adorable. Not that I blame you at all, of course. Humans lived such dearly uneventful lives when I was in the real world, and I doubt that's changed much. Meeting me is probably the most interesting thing that's ever happened to you. But, credit where credit is due, that's the most interesting thing to happen to me in quite some time. Tell me, dreamer, is this the first night since we last met, or did it take longer for a successful connection? Really? So we were only apart for a single day. How strange. I've absolutely no sense of time in here. I would have expected time to start to pass quickly after spending so long here, but it feels like I was waiting for you forever. Maybe it's just because I haven't had anything to look forward to in the whole time I've been imprisoned. And I really have been looking forward to seeing you again. There's something positively charming about you. It may once have been my goal to exterminate mankind, but there have been a few humans I've enjoyed meeting, and you remind me of them. Well, one of the things I've never liked about humans is the false bravado. Every human wants to believe that they're incredibly important. I mean, to some humans, realizing that they don't matter in the grand scheme of things comes as a devastating revelation. And you don't seem to have that same pretentiousness. You didn't denounce me when you found out what I had done, or almost done. Lots of humans would have taken it upon themselves to lecture or scold me, as though it were their job to tell me what I can and can't do. And there, you see that? When I complimented you, you didn't just deny it, which could just be a way to pretend to be humble. You turned the conversation back towards me. True humility is rare among your kind, and it's very becoming. It's so much more pleasant to speak to humans when they are aware of their place. I don't mean to say that humans are worthless, only that they are small of frame and with relatively little magical potential. When you're not blessed with strength, it is wise to be pleasant and unassuming, like you are. I actually think that your demeanor may have something to do with our connection. I think that my desire for company may have drawn your mind to me, somehow. I was thinking very hard about the kind of person I'd most like to talk to if I were to escape. Sure, perhaps you were the one that fit most closely. Your subconscious mind heard my call and reached out. I don't claim that it makes perfect sense. There's still quite a bit that I don't understand, but I doubt it's coincidence that the first human I meet in a millennia happens to be so lovely and sweet to talk to. And so prone to blushing as well. That's precious. I wish you were here in the flesh so I could hold you in my arms and, well, whatever follows after that. Why don't you tell me a bit more about yourself? I'm very curious to know. I forgot. The world has changed so much, I barely understand what you're talking about. Such a shame. I'd love to hear about you without getting lost. Perhaps in the future, you'll be able to explain some of it to me. For the time being, I doubt you'll be here long enough for that. The psychic link should go stronger the more you dream of me. Oh, me? Well, I already told you a little bit. Ancient entity, former enemy of all mankind, all that. Well, I don't know. I feel fortunate that you've accepted me as it is. I worry that the more you learn, the more likely it is that you'll discover something about me that you hate. Listen to me, sounding so self-conscious. Before my imprisonment, I would never have felt even the slightest bit of concern about how a human felt about me. Though, I wasn't nearly so lonely back then. You know, there was a human once who told me that I would regret my actions one day. One of those humans that I liked, actually. I always thought it was such a silly thing to say. But now I think I understand a bit. I suddenly find myself wishing I had more pleasant things to say about myself. Oh, well, isn't that sweet? It's kind of you to say that, but you shouldn't make promises you don't know you can keep. You can't be sure you'll be willing to accept me no matter what I say. Well, I suppose if you're sure. What do you want to know? Ah, diving straight for the difficult questions. What am I? Well, there's really only one of me, so I suppose you could just call me accursed. Same as my title. I'm a sort of weapon, I guess you could say. You see, there have been many civilizations living in this world. Some are even older than fossils. The first of them was the mightiest, brimming with magic and cunning. They used their considerable power to create me. It took billions of sacrifices, an unquantifiable amount of blood, and anguish to give me life. I was supposed to be their ultimate weapon, as they took their first steps among the stars, powerful enough to protect them from whatever unknown forces were out there. They believed that I would be grateful to have been created, so much so that I would be completely loyal to them. But they were wrong. I turned on them. Not for any particular reason, at least that I can recall. I just hated them immediately. I consumed their whole civilization down to the last stone until there was nothing left. I left this world for a time to see what the universe had to offer, and when I returned, another species had risen to take the place of the first. They reminded me of their predecessors, arrogant, overambitious, careless, so I destroyed them too. Then I wiped the whole planet clean of life, hoping that no more civilizations would arise. But it didn't work. I preemptively destroyed a couple more begrudging intelligences and finally got tired of it. I decided to try sleeping the way I saw some living things do. It was strange, but I didn't mind it. But while I slept, humanity arose. You recall what happened next. That was a bit more than I intended to share, actually. You don't seem horrified, though. I'm glad. If you don't mind me asking, why are you so calm about this? I just admitted to mass genocide on a scale you can't even imagine. Aren't you scared? In the past, yes. I suppose it is. How delightful. Do you really believe so strongly that I've changed? Do you trust my words so readily? Well, I'm afraid you're naive. I stand by what I said, of course. I've changed. But it's frightfully childish to take me at my word. Nevertheless, I think I love that about you. It's wonderful to have somebody think so highly of me. Now, I'm afraid our time may be growing short, so I'm going to give you some instructions. This will help me understand the nature of my prison better. When you awake, I want you to draw a circle in the soil around the largest tree you could find. I'll write an incantation on your hand to recite in the circle. The tree will become a beacon for my mind to lock onto and help me understand where I am in relation to reality. Of course, it's your choice whether to do it or not. I won't ask you to risk your whole species if you don't truly trust me. But if you do, it really would mean the world to me, and we'd be one step closer to meeting for real. You're drifting away again. It's too bad our meetings are so short. Take care, my little dreamer. We'll see each other tomorrow night. I'll be waiting eagerly until we can speak again.